Last time, on Guardians of Haven, our heroes found themselves standing before the Preserver Pyramid, hidden along the icy plains of Europa. A structure that had seemingly once been submerged in the ice, but brought to the surface by fate, Daedalus, or some other nefarious circumstance. The group put their heads together, trying to get past the door's protective puzzle. Unfortunately, the door also tried to put their heads together in the form of a miniature black hole trap. After some time, they were able to figure out how to make the door silent enough to unlock it. Once inside, they found Earth's oldest hero, Daedalus, chained to the towering, desiccated, and robotic corpse of the preserver known as the Prophet. Flynn used his magnificence and a little telekinetic help to acrobatics his way over to the unconscious Daedalus and brought him back to the party. Unfortunately, Daedalus was possessed by the Prophet, and a fight broke out. Our heroes very much almost died, especially Chimera, but they managed to break Daedalus' possession and fight the massive mummy to a standstill. They also managed to steal the hard drive of a preserver terminal before the pyramid sank back into the murky depths of Europa's subsurface ocean. Daedalus wasn't exactly what a reasonable person would call grateful for the rescue. He refused to tell Alara what he knew about the Moonstone, saying it was in safe hands and would remain so, and after a tense standoff when he sort of called everyone except for Ursa a criminal, he flew off to Starhaven. He also self-destructed his ship, the Icarus, as a final punctuation on their conversation. We rejoin our heroes en route to Starhaven to report their success to Solo Takashi. Fuck that guy.
Wow.
I didn't realize he did that.
Maybe that's a spoiler.
We would think that he would just have a recall option.
It's way too dramatic for that crap.
I'll just build another one.
I've seen. With blackjack and hookers. And you know what? Forget the blackjack.
Saw a dog firework PSA this morning. Said don't get fireworks. Don't get fireworks, get hookers. They bang too.
Nice.
And there was a dog holding the signs up that said this. I'm like, okay, I'm ready then.
So, you all are racing along the icy plains of Europa in your Preserver Speeder. Still with Agent Jones.
Yeah, Alara's just like, I guess, brow furrowed in thought, maybe meditating for a bit, trying to calm herself into that conversation.
Oh, Agent Jones, was it?
Yes. Aelin? Was it?
Quite. We were wondering, with all that's transpired, how exactly do you plan on reporting this back to your superiors?
To be honest, I was maybe planning on getting on a ship and going back to Earth and not talking about this ever again.
If that's the case, we could help you with that.
I mean, I don't want to get arrested.
Why ever do you think you would be arrested?
For going
Just-
AWOL.
Well, that's not at all what we had in mind. Can't you have orders drafted that call you back?
Yeah, but then I'll have to talk about what happened.
So you have a choice.
Who do you have to talk to?
Prime Consul Tamira Vaughn.
Why don't you just lie?
Because I'm an agent of Aegis? And I swore an oath not to?
Oh, but you could just go back to Earth willy-nilly and never talk about it again?
Omission's not mine. If I don't bring it up and they don't ask about it, I don't have to talk about it.
Don't ask him how it never works.
He blushes at you.
Ursa rolls.
Let me talk to her. Yeah, I'll smooth things over.
I'll probably also have to talk to Daedalus.
Why?
We already had the conversation with Daedalus. He doesn't seem one that wants to have a conversation with anyone.
No, but he's kind of the... I mean, Deputy Director Francois is... She's in charge, but Daedalus is sort of in charge of the human endeavors here. He's the connecting point between Unison and Aegis and the Republic government.
Well, he can go through the chain of command and talk to people. You don't directly report to him, therefore you don't need to talk to him.
I feel like he's gonna seek me out.
Well, if you need a place to crash, you can crash at my place for the meantime.
Yeah, I think I'd like that.
Laura opens one of her eyes.
Well, now that we have that settled, what else is there to talk about?
You guys killed a 50-foot tall mummy. That was pretty cool. Mummy robot, even.
Technically not alive, therefore not killed.
We knew Chimera would have a witty retort to that.
Was that witty?
We think so.
Curious.
He says curious a lot.
Fascinating.
Is he making fun of me?
Nope.
I would not indulge in such an endeavor.
As you looked.
Cool.
Is there something you wanted to talk about, Ursa?
No, I would just like to stop talking about the half-wit that is now in our party. Where's Toasty?
As I side-eye Ursa.
Watson also side-eyes Ursa.
Leave the man candy alone.
Watson's like, she gets it. Watson's still holding Toasty. He's been kind of quiet this whole trip back.
Watson or Toasty?
Watson.
I mean, Toasty's always quiet because Toasty didn't get a voice modulator added to him
Yet.
yet.
The Toasters is going to be voiced by James Earl Jones.
Hey! Hold my voice actor.
This is Toast and
Can I see him?
Watson will lift him up. Hand him over to you.
She'll take him and pass him to Alara and be like, would this cheer you up? Give him a little hug.
She'll take Toasty.
Toasty
I
has a
guess
smiley face emoji on his LED screen.
And I
And
guess
just
she'll
like
start
that, I
petting
start
the
playing too.
toaster. And she'll say, that actually does make me feel better.
Toasty will wrap his little power cable around your back and squeeze you a little bit.
Oh.
Cute. Alex, if anything freaking happens to you, you're about to be toast.
I will personally burn down Starhaven.
We thought Alara was bad. Wait till we to Ursa goes nuclear.
So Watson, why are you so quiet?
I don't know if I want to talk about it in mixed company.
Ursa will glare at the office.
He's like, do you want me to get out of the speeder?
Well,
Hey,
gets the idea. I can't bring Watson into a mental conversation, right?
Right.
Or is he sentient enough for that? Okay.
Nope.
Do my illusions cover auditory? Just gonna double check.
You're going to put Agent Jones in a timeout box?
Yes.
He's gonna make me pull. I'm gonna pull the. Do I need to pull the speeder over? Can I have a word with you two?
Don't make me turn this ship around.
No, it's just Watson seemed to want a more private conversation. Agent, if you don't mind covering your ears for a bit.
Cover your ears and just make one of those really high-pitched noises.
Toasty starts making a noise as an example. Agent Jones will cover his ears, and Watson will sort of look at him for a second, and he'll look at all of you, and his little robot face sort of droops a little bit into a frown. I just disobeyed my prime programming and betrayed the Prophet for you, Preserver descendants.
Well, we certainly appreciate that.
Yes, and he was hardly himself, I imagine. Sure, the last time you saw him, he wasn't a corpse.
No, he was very alive the last time I saw him. Not even really sure what could kill a Preserver, if I'm being honest.
Are you so certain he was dead?
I'm not positive about it. I'd have to run more tests. But seeing as his body is at the bottom of the subsurface ocean, I don't suspect we're going to get a chance to run those tests anytime soon.
Were you able to record footage of the fight, perhaps? Something we could analyze later?
Yes, I'm always recording.
Oh.
Always. Aelin smirks and raises an eyebrow.
Huh?
Wait, when you say always...
Ursa has flashback to dancing in her underwear in their apartment.
Wow.
We may have to have some talks about privacy, Watson.
Privacy.
I'll see if I can work it into my schedule.
He's borrowing all the Farsighter pronunciations.
No.
He says, I don't know what it means that I was able and willing to do that, but I just want you all to know that I'm here to help your endeavors.
Watson loves us, Alara.
I know.
I didn't say that.
Watson, you seem to have found yourself in the midst of a crew of, let's say, rebels. So maybe we've rubbed off on you somewhat.
Maybe.
This is hardly a bad thing, though.
And he nods, and I just wanted you all to know that I want to see you succeed and not die. And he gives you a little thumbs up.
Nicest thing you said to me since you came with us.
That's the nicest thing I've said to this you from this universe.
Watson?
Watson, I will snap your head off of your body. You understand that?
That's more like it.
Can we perhaps not wish violence upon the rest of the members of the crew? We already had quite the encounter with the esteemed hero of humanity earlier.
Yeah,
And she's kind of rolling her eyes through most of that. It's all sarcasm.
That was Centuria.
Wow.
Centuria is pretty cool.
in my opinion.
Thanks, Watson.
Yeah, what was his deal?
Some
Very
men
nice.
Some men don't like to show weakness.
Don't like to share either.
I suppose we just should have let him die then.
Aelin will look at Alara. Yes. Like sharing with your aunt would be a good thing at this moment in time.
Well, I got the stone. I certainly wouldn't share it with her, although that might not be entirely my choice if there
And,
are.
and thus the problem. Fix the problem, then ask for what's yours.
Yes, yes, you're right. I know. It's just I don't want to wait any longer.
We've been waiting for a really long time to fix our problems, and well, they just don't get fixed. Sorry. Nothing comes as we expect them to. The different voices are all pouring out of Aylin's mouth at this point in time.
Well, you all have far more patience than I do.
We've been living with this for our entire lives.
Well, same. Though I am willing to admit, I may have been a little over eager in my anticipations.
If only you were so with your Twitter patience. She looks at the captain and looks back at you and gives you this feral grin.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean. You forget yourself. I have to get back to meditating, actually.
Look how healthy this conversation has been. What a great team.
Can't hear you.
Flynn's pretending he didn't hear that comment as he's driving along. It's weird.
Excellent. So, anything else before you all get back to Starhaven?
Aylin will put a hand on Chimera's shoulder because I'm assuming he's riding shotgun, and kind of crop up next to him. We're just checking in. Are you doing okay?
I am functioning at optimal levels, if that is what you mean.
That's what I meant.
Not exactly, but that is at least good to know. You did take quite a hit.
Yes, but I have recovered. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Saylor. Was that an appropriate response?
It was. We believe you are learning.
Fascinating.
That is quite the leap for you. We believe, though.
Curious.
Which does have us wondering if you are doing okay.
I am unaware of any residual complications.
Fair enough. Let us know if that changes.
Yes, ma'am.
And she'll squeeze your shoulder and kind of sit back down in between, assuming Alara and Ursa.
Agent Jones is like, can I take my hands down now?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Well, you all make the rest of the trip back to Starhaven without too much difficulty. You don't pass into any more dangerous creatures. You make your way back through the dome and down into the Greenwell through the jungle that you came in through, and
Nobody gets eaten by anything. It's amazing.
yeah, nobody gets eaten by big lizards. It's great. Jonesy, when you get back from the green zone and into the central district, can I get a stealth check or a vehicles check to get the speeder through unnoticed? And I'll give you a +2 circumstance bonus for having Agent Jones there to be like, don't go that way. That's where they like to patrol.
And a +2 circumstance bonus because he has to show off for Ancient Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Stealth or what's gonna do? Oh, it's obviously gonna be stealth. Way better. Way better. Oh my! That's the first roll of the night, and it's a 14.
That's a 2 on the dice for Flynn.
I think
Yeah.
that's gonna be no. Flynn's luckier than that.
I forgot Agent Jones's nickname was Hat Rack. Thank you, Miss Violent, for reminding me.
Ah,
I'm going to spend that luck point to reroll. 21.
Actually, it's a 31 because it's a 9 on the dice.
Nice.
So yeah, no problem at all, Jonesy. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what happens as you bring the group back in?
Yeah, so we get back in on one of the through the back way which we got out on, and then I hit. Well, as soon as we hit the main travel ways, I quickly dart down some side streets and avoiding the patrols and causing too much undue notice to us, and then have Agent Jones slide over so he can give me better directions. So yeah, he slides up front and helps me avoid notice.
Awesome. The way the speeder's laid out, I'm imagining like Chimera's in the co-pilot seat and you're in the driver's seat, and Agent Jones is sort of sitting on the console in between the two of you.
Yep.
He's leaning away from Chimera, trying not to touch him.
That's fine. And I will make sure he pulls close so he doesn't get thrown around too much as we make the sharp turns.
Oh yeah, sure.
Uh-huh.
Knee touching shoulder.
Alara, give me an insight check.
Wow. Alara was pursing her lips, trying to keep quiet. To 27.
Oh no, she'd be noticing.
Get a rage.
Every now and then, Agent Jones looks over his shoulder, and you could tell he's like giving you like a ha look.
Oh my god.
Did he not just see what happened between her and Daedalus?
Mind crunch him. Let the evil flow through.
I don't know what happened to him. His brain melted when we came across the wall.
Crazy.
Oh, she's very tempted to.
Hold on to
No.
Toasty. Take a deep breath.
Her grip on Toasty tightens. She will fantasize about just giving him a light crunch, but not actually do it.
When you fantasize about that, Toasty Toast pops up out of his slot.
It burnt.
It's not burnt, but you do see what looks like the shape of a person with his head exploding in the toast.
Throw the toast at him.
No, Toasty, I would never. Well, no. Well, no.
The little LED screen says, "I heard you."
But-
I would never on an empty stomach, that is.
Wait, Toasty, did you hear she'll think at Toasty? Toasty.
You'll
Did
think
you-
you'll think that at the toaster.
Yes. Did you hear what I was thinking?
It puts up a shrug emoji on the LED screen and a question mark.
Okay, if you can hear what I'm thinking, then I don't know, nod once or something.
Nod.
Well, show like a nodding emoji. Ursa, get off the line! I'm stuck in
Alara, it occurs to you that he answered your question without saying yes or no. Like when you thought, "Can you hear me?" he shrugged, which implied that he could hear you, but he might not be telling the truth.
So, you can maybe hear me, but Watson can't. I can't tell if you're messing with me, Toasty. You're spending too much time with Watson.
An apple pops up on the screen.
A mapple.
A mapple pops up on the screen.
Oh, no. This could be useful. But this will just be our little secret for now.
Here's your thumbs up emoji.
Adorable.
Because that's not going to come back to bite us in the ass.
I don't know.
I don't want Tosa to be evil.
Those are the two options. I could kill him or make him evil. Your choice.
No.
Wow.
I don't want
That's
to
Wow.
not true. There's a third option. You can kill him and make him evil.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
Brutus fans, watch for season 2. Anyway.
Oh, don't you
Alex, I
dare.
will quit. I will leave USP and I will never do another game.
Wow.
If you kill
That's
my
serious.
dog.
Oh man.
Maybe we can get Alex beyond his 150,000 word edit this weekend and we can get him back to being at least semi, normal.
I'm gonna tell Aaron to give Alex's character a very nice, sweet creature and then murder it.
Wow.
Aaron is in Aaron's in the watching list right now, so he probably heard you.
Yeah, that's Kat, that's a good point. Alex will be very vulnerable during next week's crossover. He better toe the line.
Nobody can knock me out harder than I knock myself out, okay?
We haven't tried.
Bowman tried. Resident tried. Resident knocked me the fuck out last time.
I just remember Centura hating you. This is probably why.
It's probably subliminal. Anyway, Jonesy, Flynn, you have brought the group back into Starhaven. Where are you heading?
We do have to drop the speeder off at some point back to its owner. Before we do that, though, is there any place else we can... I'll turn to the group. Before we take this back to its rightful owner, any place else anyone needs to go?
We believe the Aegis agent needs to be dropped off somewhere. Unfortunately, Captain.
Flynn, if you want to drop me back off at your place, I can prepare the debriefing for when you get back.
Not so sure that's a good idea. We don't want to go around with the speeder too much. I mean, we did kind of borrow it aggressively.
Perhaps, Alara, he means literally to remove freaks.
I just taken a drink, Kevin. Shut up.
That's a hero point for Chimera.
I am a preserver artifact. I am not oblivious.
No, it was. I just wanted to do an intelligence swap.
Is that what we are calling it these days?
I wanted to get our stories. Well, straight's probably not the right word.
Oh my god.
And just like that, it's the late 90s again.
May we suggest that you stop while you're ahead, Agent Jones?
That's up to Flynn.
So, anyway, is there any place else the team needs to go before or any place specific we need to do before we drop this off?
Can't think of anything.
Just to clarify, rightful owner, do you mean giving it back to the Farsighters, who are technically supposed to own it, or taking it back to Solo?
Who's asking? GM?
The GM's asking.
It's not
Solo,
going back
it's
to the
not their car.
Farsighters.
Okay. I didn't
F
think
those
so.
guys.
I didn't think so. I was just checking.
They stole
The
it. We stole
Farsighter
it
teams
back.
already have it in their possession. So.
They got it on a legal technicality.
Possession is 3/10 the law. 9/10 the law. Whatever.
I was gonna say 3 cents. Oh crap!
Oh no.
Alright,
No, I don't think there's anything we need to do before. Though we should probably just get out of the speedster as soon as possible so we don't get spotted in it and start haven.
hey Lynn, do you know any place that you can quietly stash this and so Solo can pick it up later?
we may have a place that we could drop it off for a little bit. Let me see. I do have connected, Alex. If I make a call real quick, can I get us a safe house to drop it off?
Yeah, sure. Connected, it's investigation, right?
Let me double check that.
Or is it persuasion?
I think it's persuasion.
I think it is too.
Because I'm fairly certain I wouldn't have taken if it was investigation.
It's fair. Pulling up my hero's handbook too.
Right.
You know, one day I will load the advantages into our handout on Roll20. Connected is a persuasion check. Yep.
Yep. That's what I thought. Cool. I had just gotten there myself.
This will be a DC 20 persuasion
Okey
check.
Person on the other end think I'm attractive?
Yes, I was gonna say yes for a hero point, but you could just spend a hero point to reroll if you wanted to do that. So
Well, attractive would give me a +5, so.
perfect. Are you calling as Aelin or as Trinity?
As Aelin.
Okay.
On behalf of Trinity, I will do the name drop.
Gotcha. And who is this contact?
It is probably. Oh, very good question. Well, it's not a contact; it's connected, so I have to come up with somebody, don't I? Put me on the spot.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, not a problem. It is somebody who works in the automative section of the facility that kind of keeps speeders up and running. That has its own. They have their own garage. Somebody that has been helped out by Trinity in the past.
Awesome. Do they have a name or
Farfall.
Farfall? Perfect. So yeah, you get a hold of Farfall. He says, "Yeah, I got a warehouse in the draft snarl. You could tuck that thing in for at least for a couple of days if you need."
Shouldn't be more than a few hours.
Yeah, it's being fumigated for bugs and nanites, so there's a few days.
Computer bugs or larger bugs?
A little bit of both.
A question to the GM. This campaign is currently post Emerald City Nights.
No, this is currently concurrent with Emerald
Okay.
City Nights.
All right, never mind.
That's actually where we're going next week.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were still in that arc or.
Yep. We've had to move the timeline around a little bit to accommodate that, but we're making it work. We're making it work.
So Aelin will kind of make her way forwards, poking her head, basically separating Agent Jones and Flynn for just a minute second while she whispers in Flynn's ear the location to drop the speeder off, and then she surreptitiously looks back at Alara and sits back down.
There was a smile on Alara's face that she couldn't hide before Aelin looked back.
So, with that, Flynn's going to quickly make his way to the drop-off spot.
Excellent. Yeah, it's just a sort of semi-rundown speeder garage in the draft snarl that's being brought back into serviceable condition. It's pretty close to the spaceport. It does have a big bug bomb tent around the building, but you're able to open up part of it and get in there. And you see there are a couple of the Cyclops robots that sort of look over at all of you. They don't say anything, they make a couple of beeping noises, and they go back to their work.
Cool.
Aelin nudges Watson and kind of gives him the huh.
I wouldn't fuck that robot with a USB stick. What are you talking about?
What was it saying?
You don't know this, but that's an ugly robot.
We weren't trying to set you up. We were asking you what it was saying.
Oh, and he sort of looks and he... The closest phrase I can think of to give you in your language of 3 dimensions is, "That's too big to be a bug, ignore it."
Plants her hands on her hips. We're not sure if we should be offended or grateful.
Well, he's not going to poison you, so that's probably a good thing to be grateful for.
And if bugs came in that size, it's time to move.
Agreed.
So, but we should probably not leave this neighborhood as a giant group and draw too much attention to ourselves.
Watson sighs and goes over to Alara to hide under her coat again.
Yes, climb on up, Watson. I suppose Ursa and I and Watson can go in one group, and Toasty, of course.
Are we meeting up at the usual location?
I would suspect so, unless for some other reason we find to be elsewhere.
Well then, Aelin will slip her arm into the crook of Chimera's elbow. We shall be off. And we'll see you all soon.
Very well, mistress.
Then Flynn and Agent Jones are going together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right there.
Are you leaving the preserver hard drive here, or are you taking that with one of you? And if so,
Oh no,
who's
that comes
taking
that comes with Chimera and Aelin.
Excellent. Cool. And off you go. Off you pop. What interval are you guys leaving one another?
Probably every 15 minutes. And each one of us heads in a different direction.
Perfect.
Are we going to meet up? Are we going to meet up right away, or like later in the day?
Oh. Give us a ring. Give it about an hour.
Okay.
We do have to figure out next steps, and we also have to go arrange for pickup and a nod towards the speeder.
Yes. Okay, so not sure who's leaving first.
Toasty's little slot does pop up, and there's a human dollar bill that comes out of the slot.
Yes, we'll figure out pickup for the speed at the same time we get paid. So smart, Toasty.
See you all soon. And I will head out with Agent Jones first.
Cool. Where are Flynn and Agent Jones going?
That depends.
Oh
Um,
Heading for
for
that
minds
debrief.
of the gutter, this is PG-13. No, it actually depends on Agent Jones. As they get going, I'm going to ask Jones if this is weird. So, do you want to leave Aegis, or do you want to continue working for Aegis? What do you want?
I mean, I'd like to keep working for Aegis, but I don't know if I want to stay up here. It's dangerous. I know being with Aegis in general is dangerous, but
I've seen the vids from Ferroberg. It's not any more dangerous up here.
There's no T-Rexes in Ferroberg. usually.
There's cultists and there's that ghost guy and yeah.
And he sort of, give me a persuasion check. And I'll give you a +2, because Flynn's got attractive, right?
Yes, he does. $22.
With a 22, he kind of looks you up and down, and he agrees. He says, "Yeah, I guess it's." I don't know, it's different on Earth though, because the people aren't pissed at me for being there. Usually,
Understandable.
the consul really wants to get us out of here and wants to have Starhaven be on its own, but I just don't think it's safe for that yet. But if you know, if she doesn't want us here and the population doesn't want us here, it adds more than just the dinosaurs and the aliens and the robots and all of that. It's, I don't know. I don't know if we're on the right side of this anymore. And the way Daedalus treated you guys, that wasn't cool.
Well, he's kind of a dick. So
That's what we all have been saying around the office.
but if you want to stay in Aegis and you're worried about getting kicked out, we can go iron some stuff out right now.
I would like that. Just to, get our story straight and figure out.
No, the short version is what happened is classified. Bringing it with Daedalus for right now. I don't think Daedalus is really going to want to brag the fact that he got his butt handed to him and he had to be saved by us.
Yeah, that's probably true. He seems proud. So back to your place then?
Well, eventually, I think we should stop by your bosses and make sure that they know what happened to the rest of your team.
That's fair.
Yeah, your partner that died.
There's 3 of them. He's the last of his crew.
Yeah, and Pilsen will want to know I'm alive too. So, you can come with me if you want. I don't know if you necessarily need to, but it's up to you.
No, I'm wondering if you're worried about what to tell them, then I don't want you to, go without having some backup. So
I appreciate it, and he'll bring you with him to go report into Aegis.
Cool.
Down in the Central District. Who's after Flynn and Jones?
Probably the Moon twins.
Okay.
And Watson in that big Obi-Wan Kenobi jacket.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk fast enough, no one will miss.
His little
Can
legs.
you walk fast enough? Can you walk fast enough when he's wrapped around your leg like that?
No, it's a very cowboy walk.
your reservers in the trench coat.
I think it's okay to have Toasty out, though.
Yeah, I mean, people will be like, why are you carrying your toaster around? But
Is anyone ever gonna ask you that?
I wouldn't. I would cross the street if I saw somebody walking towards me with a toaster.
Yeah.
Starhaven's a big place with a lot of people. Some of them have toasters.
It'd be even worse if they were walking towards you with their toaster and a bag of bread hanging from their hip, like they were gonna make you toast as they were coming towards you.
Yeah, no, I would cross the street or lock my car door if I was driving past. Awesome. So you all head off. What is your destination?
I guess back home for a bit.
Yeah. Sounds like we're doing a quick little drop off of things. Maybe kick our feet up for a little bit and then heading back to the ship before meeting up with Takashi, I think would be our next move after that.
Excellent. You all do make it back to your apartment with little trouble. Watson will release himself from Alara's leg and go back over to his data point where he'll start entering information in, going over things. Alara, you do notice there is a note taped to the door when you get back.
Oh. Well, I'll take that off the door, open it up, give it a read.
It's a note from Ogris
Oh God.
saying,
What does it say?
I just wanted to let you know that I'm out of the hospital, and that still wasn't the worst first date I've ever been on, if you want to go back out again sometime.
Oh.
Sorry I missed you.
So she's just looking at this and she'll mention, she'll say to Ursa, seems Ogris is interested in another date.
Oh. Are you going to take him up on that?
I mean, I don't know. I was only using him to get something I wanted before, but, you know, he's surprisingly nice and...
You seemed quite worried about him when, you know, he got his ass beat.
He really did, but, you know, I can't afford any distractions, as it were. There's already too much going on, and one more thing is just...
I mean, with Captain Flynn being the way that he is, maybe it wouldn't be a horrible thing for you to go on another date.
That's possible, but...
Ursa,
I mean...
you see Toasty has an eggplant emoji on his LED screen.
Toasty! No, I was just saying, I mean, that is possible, but, well, again, I can't afford him with the distraction. Sir, I mean, there's a reason I've been so, you know, subtle about how I feel about the captain, and it's that I have other matters that I need to deal with.
Hey, I suppose that is completely accurate, and you're being very wise, but all of that can get backed up in your head, and sometimes you just need a release. Whether it's a date, something else, sometimes you just need a release.
Well, I'll have a few weeks of time to decide, at least, it would seem. I actually wanted to check in with you for a moment.
1 second. Miss Violent redeemed moral support for the eggplant emoji. So I don't know if that's for Toasty or for Flynn.
Well, obviously for Toasty.
He's August. So he doesn't get his ass handed to him again.
Whoever needs it, I suppose.
What did you want to check on?
Well, it's just, I was thinking about what you said earlier, and Toasty, and about what Daedalus said, how he said that I sounded like our aunt, and normally I would have ignored that sort of thing, but then you said that I didn't exactly sound like myself, and we know there's some mental blocks that are in our heads that she put in there, and, you know, I just realized I haven't even asked if you were okay since we left Eric behind.
I've certainly been better. I'm okay.
Well, are you, I mean, I know you'll say you're okay, but are you okay?
It affected me a bit more than I expected when we first saw him with our triplet,
Yes.
which we still haven't really talked about. So that was jarring, and then dealing with getting Eric and then having to drop him back off on the street, and then you being so obsessed with the moonstone and just a bunch of different things. It's definitely been a lot to deal with, whereas I think I've been taking my temper out on everyone else because I don't know how to process it.
Well, I suppose we'll have to learn how to process our things together. I mean, we spent more of our lives being controlled than we have on our own, so all of our emotions are ours to deal with now.
Yes. I suppose you're right. But it's like this is what people learn to deal with as children, and we're old people now. Learning
Relatively.
how to deal with their emotions.
Well, I just want to let you know that I'm not entirely, I do care about you. You're still my sister. So, I mean, I care about the stone and our home and getting everything back, and well, you know all of that, but you're important to me too.
I do appreciate you saying so, but sometimes I do wonder where I fall on the list of priority.
At the top.
Okay. And then she'll go take a shower.
Yep. I feel like Ursa probably saw through that last lie there.
Can't lie to somebody who's got a telepathic bond with you.
Kind of hard, yeah.
She's not even going to roll for insight because she already be knowing.
Let's be honest. People have tried dumber things than that. I mean,
True.
And then Aelin and Chimera, you all leave the fumigation garage. Chimera, give me a perception check as you're making your way wherever you all are heading.
Perception, so many windows, so many cars.
It's a little time.
Oh, that was really low. Ha 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 ha! That's perfect. That's a 9.
Are you happy with a 9?
No, but anyway. What the heck? It's not like I'll need hero points later.
Good, Anakin.
Well, at least that's a 23, because it's a hero point reroll instead of a 13. I gotta say once again, there's lots of reroll mechanics in role-playing games today, but if you are as thoughtful and generous as a Mutants Masterminds hero point,
Very much
roll
so.
a 10 or less, you get to add 10 to it, guaranteeing your hero point isn't just a big nothing burger.
I hate nothing burgers.
Me too.
Even with cheese, it's still not good.
That's just empty calories at that point. With a 23, Chimera, you hear in your voice, curious.
It's like I didn't mute the tab. No, I was kidding.
Coming from an alleyway off to the left.
All right. I was sort of tense up my arm a little bit that Aelin is holding on to sort of let her know something is up. Mistress Aelin, I heard something unusual to the left from that alleyway.
Oh.
Please be on your guard.
If we've picked up a tail, I know how to lose one. She swishes her tails.
All three of them just flailing all over the place.
Well, it's a swish,
Yeah.
not a flail.
It's not random
It's not
flail,
like-
it's a swish. It's like swipe right. Okay.
Kevin.
So, sheesh. Okay, stop. I'm very un-Chimera like this evening. I don't know what's going on. I will kind of try and steer us in a way that we can try to approach that alleyway relatively quietly, but not necessarily that we can be seen. So try and sneak a peek and see what's going on.
Awesome. When you look down the alley, You do see there's a couple of these posters from the Children of Chrysalis that Aelin was handed before you all took off, talking about their big medical supply exchange that's coming up. You also see, sort of tucked into this alley between a couple of buildings, there's a small structure. It may have been a house once. There's a couple of boulders out in front of it, made of the weird sort of preserver concrete. And there is a tree growing here, which is odd. There's not a lot of trees in Starhaven in general. It looks more like a sapling than a full-grown tree, like somebody planted it recently.
Curious. I will sort of look at Aelin. Shall we investigate?
Do I see what Chimera sees?
Yes, you do. Chimera, you do hear when you say curious, you hear a voice with the same voice as you say, wait, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Curious.
Indeed.
Are you...
Do I see where that voice is coming from? Is it coming from the tree?
It seems like it's coming from one of the rocks.
Oh,
Is Aelin hearing this as well, or is it just between the two of them?
It's just between the two of them.
So
oh,
she'll,
so it's not out loud.
He is not speaking out loud. I don't know if Chimera is speaking out loud.
I would
Yes.
assume that Chimera was, yeah. So
Yes.
Aelin looks over at Chimera. We do not hear anything. Are you conversing with something?
Yes. Something that seems to speak with my voice, but apparently not out loud. I believe this bears further investigation.
Well, Aelin will slip her hand out from around your, from the crook of your elbow, and she'll take a step to the side, put her hand down to her blaster, and say, "Very well, we shall put up watch just to make sure this is not a trap."
That is right. And I will proceed towards the rock.
Awesome. You get a few steps closer, and you hear the voice say, "How are you able to move about?"
It is a basic function of my bipedal human form. Humanoid.
You were the first one of us to have a humanoid form in over 50,000 cycles.
Are you a chimerian?
I am.
Curious. I had heard that there were others. It was only recently that I learned that I was not unique in the universe. And you are the first I have encountered. It did not occur to me that you would not share my humanoid structure and therefore basic mobility. Can you vocalize, or are all of your conversations broadcast?
I am able to vocalize, but I have not been given reason to in over 50,000 cycles.
Curious. I had assumed that vocalization was part of our design, so as not to alarm races who are incapable of telepathic communication. Perhaps my assumption was in error.
Your assumption is not an error, although I have not been approached by a non-preserver being in over 50,000 cycles.
How long have you been here that you have not been approached?
For over 50,000 cycles.
And here, close to this tree, which many humanoids regard as unique, here in Starhaven, no one has approached or conversed?
I believe I felt somebody disturb the ground, but I was unable to perceive them. I have been in dormant mode for over 50,000 cycles. It is curious to me that you are not, because I am unable to propel myself from dormant mode by my own free will. I am waiting to be recalled by the preserver who called me.
So you were awakened by a preserver call, but you are not ambulatory.
Correct.
I do not recall receiving such a directive. It is curious that I am unaware of why exactly I am mobile and conversing, and you are not.
Are you alone?
No, I have been tasked with protecting a humanoid life form. She has accompanied me. Mr. Salen, would you like to speak with another Chimera unit? And sort of look back the alley.
That what you're conversing with?
Yes.
Is it the tree?
No, it is this rock. And so it's my thought. To include Mr. Salen in our conversation, is it possible for you to activate your vocalization subroutines?
Not without authorization from a preserver. I would have to be taken out of dormant mode.
Do we have a way to communicate with Watson?
You could call Alara and Ursa because we do have their comms.
Okay. I will do so.
It rings in the shower while Ursa's in there singing loud.
I guess that means Alara has to answer the comms. Hello? Oh, are we meeting already?
Alara, is Watson available? I have need of his services.
Yes, he is. Just a moment. I guess she'll call out. Watson, it's for you. It's Chimera.
He rolls into the room, looks at you holding the phone, says, "I'm busy."
Well, I'm sure it's important if Chimera's calling. What are you busy with?
I'm allowed to have my secrets. And he rolls over and grabs the phone from you. Yes, Chimera unit.
Watson, I have discovered another Chimera unit, but it is unable to rouse itself from dormant mode. Would you have the means of activating another Chimera unit?
No, I'd have to be a preserver to do that. Or I'd have to have a Chimera pod to put it in to factory reset it.
Are you aware of where such a pod may be located?
I'm aware of where one may have been located 50,000 cycles ago.
Here on Starhaven.
Yes.
Can you transmit the coordinates, please?
Then he'll push a couple of buttons and I'll send them to you.
Okay. How far is?
It is somewhere in the southeast quadrant of Starhaven, which is a pretty decent hike from where you are now. It's basically on the other side of the city, in one of the not safe parts of town.
Ah, I see. Thank you for the information.
You're welcome. Chimera unit.
If I go to combat mode, I think I should be strong enough to carry the inert Chimera. Yeah. Actually.
Yeah, he weighs about 400 pounds in his current state.
Let me check that useful table in the basics chapter.
We have a handout for it on Roll20 too, if you want to get really fancy.
Oh, handouts! I can't do it. That's too fancy for me. As it turns out, I won't have to bulk up. My standard form has sufficient strength to carry the Chimera unit. So, if you are amenable, I don't think it wise to leave you here in dormant mode. I will take you with us until such time as we can take you out of your current inert status.
I am without the capacity to be desirous in one way or the other.
Very well.
Do with
So
me
I will
as you
pick it
wish.
up. I will pick it up. Apologies, Mr. Salen. I don't think it wise to leave this here.
Well, we assume that it won't take up as much room at the apartment until we can get it activated. We are confused the only preserver that could have put out a call would have been the one we just had an encounter with.
The preserver's capacity to communicate across vast distances cannot be understated. So, while that would be logical, that is not necessarily true.
Did not Watson say that the rest of the preservers were gone?
To the best of his knowledge, which has been demonstrated as being more limited than he would have us care to know.
On certain topics, at the very least. Well, she'll put a hand out and kind of touch the tree very gently. We just hope that this does not place this one in any harm.
Do any of the other rocks look like this one?
Not in this immediate vicinity, but now that you've been thinking about it, you have seen a few of these rocks throughout your journeys in Starhaven thus far.
So
And thinking back to the preserver information that you absorbed in lieu of human emotions, you are thinking of other locations around town that they may be in dormant mode.
So there may be a lot of Chimera units here in Starhaven.
There could be.
Curious. That was important.
Aelith will kind of look at Chimera. If you are sure, we can take it with us. Are you thinking of anything else?
Having another Chimera unit to converse with might shed light on what has been going on, given the conflicting directives I have received. I think it a likely possibility to sorting out the mystery and the conflicting directives.
You have been receiving directives?
Yes,
Curious.
indeed.
What is the
No.
organic life form you were speaking with?
This is Mistress Aelin. This is the organic being that I am charged with protecting.
Charged by
Until
whom?
everything- Unknown.
I cannot perceive this organic being. What are they like?
I will picture Mistress Aelin in my mind and see if the Chimera unit can read it from that.
The preservers of your time are very strange. And very small.
To clarify, Mistress Aelin is not a preserver.
Is she one of the fallen ones?
Clarify.
The lesser beings who would come and purge the galaxy of all life.
To my knowledge, Mistress Aelin is not about purging life from anywhere except in self-defense or defense of those she cares for. It seems as though you have significant knowledge of the preservers that I lack, despite my greater mobility.
You were awakened recently, no?
Yes.
Curious that the preserver who awoke you did not come and awake the rest of us.
Indeed. There are many mysteries afoot. Many things that do not make sense.
I will happily accompany you where you are going to take me.
That as well.
And Aelin and Chimera take their big boulder and go home.
I got a rock.
This is payback for that pet rock thing from, the question of the day many moons ago.
Payback's a strong word. Inspired by.
Oh.
Excellent. So where do Aelin and Chimera go after this?
Head back to the apartment first, and then I'd imagine like Ursa, Aelin would take a shower and then get ready to head back to the ship.
Awesome. Is that the general consensus? Flynn and Agent Jones, you make it to Aegis and I'll let you sort of dictate how the story goes.
My hope is that we can meet with the boss and basically tell the boss, the very short version of Agent Jones is in trouble. Him and his team, they were outgunned, overmatched, and we managed to pull him out of the fire. But unfortunately, most of those details about what transpired are classified and any reports about those details will need to be run through Daedalus. And
They don't seem particularly excited to be hearing that from you, but they also know that Daedalus just got back and they haven't had a chance to be debriefed by him yet. So
unfortunately, we can't go into any specifics about Daedalus is okay based on impending situations and current moving intelligence. So, but we want to make sure everyone is aware that everything's going on and that Agent Jones should not be held responsible for not being able to give additional details at this time.
Well, we'll double check with Daedalus and we'll get back to Jones. Jones, your team is waiting for you in the barracks. They'll want to know you're okay. And he sort of gives a wistful look to Flynn. And we'll say,
Flynn,
oh, go ahead.
And as he heads out, as they leave that room, Flynn will pull him aside, give him a big old kiss, and also make sure he taps his comm link with my information, so he has a really good ability.
Excellent.
He still owe me a dinner, and I will turn around and walk off.
You subtly hear, suck it, Laura, from Agent Jones.
Wow.
As he goes off to go do agent things. And I think as you all head home and begin getting ready to head off to see Solo, that's probably a good place to take. Our break, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, everybody. Get up, stretch, grab a drink, grab a snack, and we'll see you back in just a few minutes.